Welcome to the Steven Cimino Show, issue number 88.
Boom!
Hey everyone, welcome to Pop XP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the Pop XP channel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Steven Cimino Says Boom Show, issue 88. It's been a while, Steve. Give me a boom, brother. Give me a boom.
Oh, it's been so long. I've actually aged 7,000 years since the last time that we were on. But lucky enough, I'm made of sterner stuff, so I'm still hanging in there.
Good.
I don't know, that beard's looking a little more gray. What happened? I mean, it hasn't been that long, Steve. Come on.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
you know, I might need a little touch up.
Yeah.
The Deadly Trio's back together.
It's good to be back. Before we start, Niall, tell us what's up with everything.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. And as you know, make sure to look below, click that subscribe button, and smash that bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. And gentlemen, I'm excited. I'm glad to be chatting with you guys. We had a little break. There was a lot of shows you were hitting there, Mr. Cimino. And it's just good to be back hanging with you guys.
I was on the other side of the world in Australia. Had a good time. Big, huge show there at the Supernova. Roy killed it. A lot of celebrities, a lot of stars, a lot of fans. It was fun. Got a little verklempt coming back, but the healing factor kicked in. But that's not what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the future. And the future is the CCXP24 in São Paulo, Brazil. Now, what people need to realize now, Steve, for instance, I know you heard of it, but you never been there. Torpedo ever been to the CCXP?
No, not at all.
Yeah, because it would be great because obviously the comics in Brazil are a little bit, they got a lot of the pop culture stuff, but they'd love to see comics and nobody has a better selection. Do you still have that Captain America #1?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Oh, he has a delicious Captain America #1. Brian Pulido was looking at it. You know, I got to admit, Steve gave a good deal and all that, Steve. But right, Steve. But Pulido still ran out the door, and I haven't heard from him.
Well, since. I mean, that's a big mouthful. You know, that book. That's woo.
That's right. Best Comic Con in the world.
Like, first off, we got Ivan Costa here, the promoter. He'll give us a little background on it. But another great thing, we have the side guest here, the king himself. For the first time ever, he's going to be going to this show, Mr. Gerry Conway, Frank Castle himself, and he's going to. Oh, I can't wait to go with Gerry. I don't know who's gonna carry who after all this wild stuff. Is Gerry going to be carrying me to the show? Because we're going to be there for 5 days and going to have a good time at. The last day, we're going to have a good time at Ivan's house, doing a little barbecue and all that stuff. I think Ivan wants to cook us or something. I don't know. Well, doesn't want to get us out of there, so we got to have a good time there. So this is going to be a show. This is a preview show for anybody out there that has anything that knows the CCXP. I mean, this is a show. They get nearly 300,000 people. Could be the biggest show in the world. I know there's some competition there with China. But that Comic Con over there, but we'll see Ivan. He'll give us the statistics and all that stuff. So let's do this. Let's bring out our first guest, the promoter of the CCXP in Brazil and Mexico City. Let's bring out my boy Ivan Costa. straight from Brazil. I just want everybody to know, nobody sent me more kissy emojis than Ivan. He just can't stop doing it.
I can't. I need to tell you guys that sometimes he asks for this kind of emoji, so I need to reply.
Yeah, it's okay.
Polite,
We know exactly what he's
He
like.
needs that emotional support, just a little warmth.
Yeah, he's the biggest baby we've ever seen.
It's good to have someone to share this. We take care of him together. I'm kidding here. It's so nice to be here, guys. Thank you very, very much for the invitation. We are here swamped with stuff to do because CCXP is around the corner. It's on the first weekend of December, and we're going to have our biggest show ever, probably crossing the 300,000 visitors line. It's a lot of people. John had a chance to see it. It's a lot of people.
A lot of people. And Ivan, I want to say first, I gotta kiss your ass a little bit, but I gotta do it in a good way. I'm gonna be honest right now. What makes Ivan so awesome is that me and him clicked right away. And why do we click like Steve and like Niall? Because he is a true fan. Like, I'm gonna just show you this. Ivan is so desperate for Gerry Conway autographs that he had to buy the comics here and he had to send them to my place. That I have these are Ivan's comics he sent to me because we got to get the King, who's going to be coming out very soon, to look at these unbelievable comics. Just two of many incredible comics that this legendary writer, Steve, we're going to bring out this legendary writer. Why don't you introduce the guy and give us a little background? Because I know you're Conway cuckoo too.
I think that I might be the biggest Conway cuckoo of all time. As I said, just when it comes to stepping in after Roy and taking over runs and being creative. Gerry is the man and done some of my favorite stories of all time. Okay, if we get into the Thor stories, we're going to be here for 19 hours straight. Okay, if we get into the Thor stuff alone. And of course, when it comes to the Amazing Spider-Man, I've said it on podcasts before. The product and story content that he created in the 1970s is still being referenced today. That is true power. You can be successful for 5 minutes and people forget you. But when you create something that people are still referring to all the time, every day, you have raised above. So, yeah, you're never going to get a bigger booster than me for Gerry Conway.
And how young was he when he was writing that stuff? Ivan, me and Roy were driving to Indiana. We were in the car for like 8 hours. And I was asking him, I said, it is truly incredible, all those Spider-Man issues he was writing, that he was so young. How did he even have that type of life experience? And yet he could write the Spider-Man angst that we all love, that is synonymous with Spider-Man. I mean, he was what, 18, 19 years old? Like it's just that's something that like is not very like well known. Like they just think he's this great writer. He was writing that stuff. I wasn't writing that stuff in high school. I mean, like that's like that deep? No way. Unbelievable. So without any further ado, let's bring out the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Castle himself, Mr. Gerry Conway.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah. And this is going to be Gerry's first time, right, Gerry, at the CCXP?
Yeah, it's actually my first time in South America in any capacity. It's
They're
something
like
I've been
Tarzan out there, Gerry. They're like Tarzan out there.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's been on my go-to list for a long time to visit, and I'm just delighted to be invited. It's great. Thank you so much, Ivan.
It's my pleasure, Gerry. When we started to throw your name around here among fans, close friends, checking, what do you think about bringing down Gerry? And they were like, really? And pretty much the lines started to to feel when we just mentioned your name. And I have a personal story to share as well. I started reading comics regularly when I was 12, and the very first comic book that I read at that time was Atari Force.
Was what?
Atari Force.
Oh, Atari Force. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I grew this obsession with you and with Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Oh yes, wonderful artist.
A wonderful
underappreciated outside of Europe.
You know what? He was a guest here in Brazil a few times already, and people love him here.
Oh,
so I have when you guys come to my place after the show for the barbecue party, you will see a few Atari Force originals around my place because I really love it.
Well, I have one too.
Awesome. I love Atari Force and Cinder and Ash. I need to mention that as well.
Wow,
it was one of my best experiences on a series. And subsequently, a lot of episodes or issues of Superman and Batman that Jose collaborated with me on, including, of course, Cinder and Ash, our graphic novel. So he was a delight to work with. Still somebody who I admire, and when I see him at conventions, it's like I'm amazed at how young he still looks. It's just he and Roy should be in a competition together. I mean, he's wonderful on all levels.
And the two of you, together.
Thank you.
I love how Gerry, like when I always tell you this, he was always Roy's disposal. Like every time Stan gave Roy to write something and Roy didn't want to write it, just give it to Gerry. Just give it to Gerry. Gerry. And
I prefer not to think of myself as a disposal.
Yeah.
But, the next man in the lineup I'll take.
Yeah, we may have to give John a little slap right there. Good Lord.
Wait, and Roy told me this, Gerry, and I know you know this. Him and out of everybody who writing Thor, the only person they trusted that they didn't have to fix up or anything of the they, the thous, and the them was Gerry Conway. Roy told me that too. It was just, he goes, me and Stan, we didn't have all the other guys, they had to like fix up and all that, but Gerry got it just like this. Unbelievable, Gerry.
Well, it was one of my favorite books to read as a kid. And I just loved the language that Stan created because it isn't exactly old English, and it isn't exactly Shakespearean, but it's a created language, and it works really well.
Oh my God!
It's a beautiful. It's a way to differentiate the characters. So when Thor was on Earth, or even the Asgardians were on Earth, and they were in Avengers Mansion, and Alfred saying, "Oh, blah blah blah," and then Thor would quietly say, "I say thee nay," and it's just like, well, he's not speaking like us because why? Because he's not one of us. He's different to us. Yes. And John is right. It's a real skill to getting that vernacular right, because if you do it wrong, it becomes cumbersome and people are like, oh, the guy's choking over his own words. But that, and plus, Gerry, you got to work with John Buscema on your run.
Beautiful artist, wonderful guy.
Yes.
I just gotta throw the Thor versus Hercules, that two-parter. Oh my, look at see, you notice Steve's voice? He doesn't really talk like that. He's just trying to be Thor. Let's get it straight. The Stan Lee, the Roy Thomas, and the Gerry Conway Thor. Look at he talks like, he doesn't really talk like this. It's just he's just so crazy. Anyways, this is how crazy we are, Ivan, and this is why we love you and all that stuff. So Ivan, first let's go into. I know Niall's got the website and all that stuff. So let's start talking about the Pop XP 24 in São Paulo, Brazil. And wait, I hate to do a spoiler.
CCXP 24.
Oh, so I'm sorry. CC. What did I say?
Pop XP 24. We could do a Pop XP 24. I'm down for that. We could do it.
Get 400,000 people.
Yeah, we can go over to the barbecue, Niall. We can, because I can put down a good 4 or 5 pounds of meat.
Well, definitely.
But Ivan, you have another comic legend that's going to be going there, and I thought about when I introduced you to Gerry. Can you tell the fans right now who's the other big comic guest that's going to be there side by side with Gerry?
Oh, we have several international artists coming down to Brazil this year. Chris Claremont's going.
Oh, fantastic.
John Romita Jr.
Nice.
I have a funny story to tell here. Brazilians are, John already knows that Brazilians are really passionate about comics, about everything. So some people they have nicknames here. So Brazilians, they don't say John Romita Jr. They say Romitinha. I will explain that. Romitinha stands for John Romita's son, Little Romita.
Oh,
wow.
So that's why they say Romitinha. So I had to explain that to John when he was here. I was like, some people call you Romitinha. It's not a bad thing. It's because it's like a nickname, but it's a very affectionate nickname. So don't be mad about it. So Romitinha is coming, as I said. Who else? Are you familiar with Matias Bergara?
Yes.
So he's coming as well. He lives nearby. He lives in Uruguay, super close to Brazil. Jorge Molina from Mexico. J.M. DeMatteis is coming as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yes. I love J.M. DeMatteis. Wow.
Yeah, and Kevin Maguire too.
Oh,
so we have,
wow. Yeah. So if you have any Justice League fans over there, they're going to be screaming blue murder.
Exactly. And another nickname, that era of the Justice League, Brazilians call it Liguinha. It's like Little League. Because they were
Little League.
That makes sense.
So it's Liguinha. That's it's funny because we have a panel with both of them, and the name of the panel is The Liguinha. DeMatteis and Kevin Maguire, blah 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 blah, because that's how fans will recognize it. James Tynion is coming, and Martin Simmons as well.
Wow, Tynion is hot as blazes right now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So we have both of them from Ministry of Truth. So they are both coming down here. If you're familiar with European comics, Miguel Ancho Prado is coming.
Okay.
Of course, Bilks Evely and Matt Lopez will be there. They're Brazilians, so of course
I would probably recognize their art and not recognize their names.
Yeah,
because I'm old.
and I just want to throw out, Ivan, give you a little props here. The displays they put behind the artist. He gave me the Roy Thomas one. I mean, it could fit my whole wall. And we got something pretty nice set up for you, Mr. Conway. With I haven't seen the final product, but I'll tell you, Ivan does. This is why Ivan, I'm going to call him one of the best promoters in the world. And the reason why, he hasn't been at it as long as a lot of these other guys in the States here, but he understands the respect, the prestige, and the love of comic books. He's a crazy fan who likes Cinder and Ash, other than Ivan Costa. The guy's nuts. He's got Atari Force on his wall. That's incredible. But but this is what I'm saying, though. This is why Ivan's show, why I love to go down. And he's right. The Brazilian people are they're so affectionate, so incredible. And his staff, I know some are watching. Larissa, Andrew, I'm sorry about all the names. the staff, and I specifically asked Ivan, I want that same staff for Gerry and me because they are the best staff in the world. And I'm going to be honest with you. Even when I was with John Bowlerjack and Roy, we fell in love with them. You talk about people that will literally live and die for you. They translate everything for us. Gerry, I have no problem. I'm friends with all these people too on Instagram. They were the greatest people. And I told Ivan the first day, your staff is unbelievable. And you hear it from all the other creators. And I heard about that, the little rumors about that. There's one right down there, Katrina. Unbelievable. And I'm just saying, I heard about it. But when I experienced it, I said, I wanted to take Larissa home. I wanted Larissa to come work for me. Seriously, it's unbelievable. So Ivan, unbelievable.
You international guests must stop trying to steal my staff because you always say that. I'm bringing this guy back home. I'm bringing this girl back home. I go like, no, I have another show next year. I need a staff here. A key point is that they are really, really happy to be there. I'm talking about the staff. They are really, really happy to be there. And then that shows. And you can see how they are not just working. They, of course, they do their job, but they are communicative. They helpful. They want to be there. And it's the same with the fans as well, right? Right, John? Oh. Fans are really passionate. It's not rare when a fan goes to see like Roy or Frank Miller and for sure Gerry in a few weeks, and they have tears in their eyes because they are super happy to finally meet these legends.
Roy had to Christian a couple that was getting engaged, and Roy had to Christian them. They wanted Roy to Christian. Yes, it gets that insane. But what I'm saying, it all starts with the promoter. You can feel the show, Ivan, when you get the promoter. When I met Ivan the first time, me and him just started going on, and I said, this guy is different. I said he's different because he truly is one of us. Yes. You don't put a show that big and it works so well and he has so many good people underneath him. There's something special about that. You're right. They're honored, but they're honored to be working for you, Ivan. And that's why I'm honored to bring a guy like Gerry to you and Mexico City too. And
we're working on that.
Yes. On that. Another great show. But it's just an honor. Go ahead.
So Ivan, I have a quick question because you said
sure, Steve.
Which is for people who are watching right now, their minds can't comprehend what was said earlier. Now, you said 300,000 people. How many days is this show?
We have 4 days, and a spoiler night on Wednesday night. So and it's a big venue. It's actually bigger than San Diego. So it's a very big venue.
Yes, because it has to be big because San Diego, they can only get to 95,000, and the fire marshals will stop anyone else from coming in. So, as soon as I heard that figure, I've never heard of a figure like that for a convention in my entire life. That's the whole population of England right there.
We have, it's a very big venue, and we have, and the convention looks different. I mean, we have a comic books is a very important part of it. We have an artist. Funny thing, we call it Artist Valley, not Alley, because it's that big. The Artist Valley is 500 artists strong.
Wow.
It's really big, and the setup is very nice. Sturdy tables and power outlets.
Yes.
Huge backdrops for the guests and comfortable seats. So it's very nice setup. But we also have like 1,000 square meters set up for Warner. The same for Netflix, the same for Apple TV. So it's a huge show with movies and streaming and collectibles. You know, Iron Studios is a Brazilian company. They are also co-founders of CCXP.
Wow.
And we have what you have. Well, you have the Hall H in San Diego, right? But here in Brazil, we have the Thunder Auditorium, and it's just like Rock in Rio.
Mhm.
It's like a rock concert.
Yeah.
It is.
Stage.
And when they do interviews, I know Gerry's going to be on a panel every day. And Gerry, what makes it so great? It's like the panels, they're shown for the convention. So you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of fans in front of you, and then it's going to be shown all over the screen. So it's different. Usually when we do panels in the States, you know, you see it again on YouTube. You get this is shown all over the venue.
I like that.
Yes,
That
a
is
great
cool.
concept.
Yeah, it's like one of those. It's like, you know, one of those MTV things and all that stuff. And they love, those Brazilians love their posters. Niall, give me the big head, because here comes a promotion for Mr. Conway. We got special just for the fans out there. We got 3 great posters we're going to be selling at Gerry Conway's booth. Obviously, we got the Spider-Man 121. We got the Spider-Man 122. And then, oh, yes, of course, the 129. These are going to come with Gerry Conway autographs. They'll be for sale at Gerry's booth. You know, you can, and if those Brazilian girls are lucky, you might even get a kiss on the cheek, right, Gerry? Right, Gerry?
You got to be careful here.
Yes.
My wife is watching. She's watching
think,
the live stream on.
I actually think Gerry's probably furious right now because you did not have a poster featuring his greatest creation. You did not have a poster with the man wolf. How dare you be up there? Oh my word! You know what? He's banned now. He's not coming. I'm taking his place. I'll come over. We'll get it sorted out, because he didn't even mention the man wolf. He's lost all of his credentials.
And I will produce a Firestorm poster myself.
Oh, great!
Because
Thank you.
Well, you can also do a Firestorm Firelord combo picture right there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It goes on forever, Gerry. It goes on forever.
I know.
So this is going to be great. So Ivan, first let's go a little bit of your history. Tell us how'd you get into Vault? How'd you get this going? How'd you had to work with the cartels and all that stuff and make this possible?
You know, I have a marketing background, so I worked for several companies here in Brazil, and then but I was a collector and a reader, and I had a chance to attend several Comic Cons in the U.S. over the years. San Diego, New York, Chicago, several others, and at some point I was like, okay, we don't have a proper Comic Con in Brazil. Maybe we should do something about it. And then I opened a company named Chiaroscuro. At that point, we were representing several Brazilian artists working for the U.S. market, and that's when I met my partners from Omelette. Omelette's a website covering pop culture, and they were also willing to create a Comic Con here in Brazil. And then we joined the forces, also with the guy from Iron Studios, and that was in 2013. And then we started talking to Disney, Warner, Sony, blah blah blah, and we announced the first convention in January 2014, and the show was on December the same year, and it was a huge success, and it started growing super fast. And it's only 11 years. This is going to be our 11th edition, and it grew so fast, so big that we already had a show in Germany, a CCXP Germany in 2019, CCXP Mexico last year, and this year, and it's already scheduled for May 2025. And if you haven't heard about it, we are going to South Korea in 2026.
Oh wow!
Wow!
That's incredible. When are we gonna get it in the States?
Yeah, I mean,
Come
Vegas,
on.
you got to come to Vegas.
Vegas.
It's the richest in the world.
There are conversations going.
All right.
Yeah, because we have something different about the way we do a convention. It's funny because on the very beginning, the name CCXP, it's short for Comic Con Experience.
Mhm.
The idea was to create something that was similar to what you guys have in the US. Over the years, it became something unique. The show is like a huge pop culture amusement park.
Yeah, it is, and like all the big studios, all the big Hollywood studios, they all come there and they set up and they have they fly in the stars and they had like with the big upcoming movies. I mean, it's just right. It's like so many. It is. It's like a theme park. It's almost like going to Disney because it's so big. It's almost going to like Disney, and you just go, and there's just so much stuff. I'm telling you, Steve, I would love for Torpedo Comics, one of the best comic book stores in the country, and definitely in the U.S., possibly the world. You guys would be great there because first you would dominate because you guys have product that like they don't rarely see in the Brazil. That's the one thing, Ivan, I told you. The one thing that it needed a little bit more of was a little bit more of those comic dealers and all that stuff. Obviously with the shipping and all that. But Steve, your Torpedo Comics would fit right in there. They have a humongous reputation. Like I said, all the golden age, all the good stuff. And look at Steve. He'll fit right in. He looks like he comes from like the jungles of
There is one major problem, John, with me going over to Brazil.
Yep.
And that is the fact that I may end up getting married to 10,000 Brazilian ladies. So I would have to be, muzzled. It would be like, it would be incredible, because, John knows me, I'm
I like the gesture. Yeah.
Brazil, they're like this too. Are you kidding me? Ivan will tell you that.
So Ivan, I have a specific question because I'm sort of I'm confused. How, when they're reading the product, and let's say they're reading classic Gerry Conway material, are they reading it in some reprint version in their own language, or are they able to read English? I'm sort of confused here. Can you let us know?
It's I just heard something about Brazil from I'm not sure if you heard about that, but there's a Brazilian movie named I'm Still Here that's probably be nominated for international movie for the Oscars. And the actress, she's very, very, very famous here in Brazil, and he's doing rounds and interviews and everything. And she said this: Brazil is like a continental-sized island in a faraway land. So we have our own culture in a way, and we are Latin America, but we don't speak Spanish.
Yes,
we speak Portuguese. So we are a huge country in South America. We don't speak the same language of our neighbors. We only speak the same language of a tiny country in Europe named Portugal. Very tiny.
it is.
Like this big. So it's weird because we are in a world of ourselves. Over the actually since the 60s or even the 50s, US comics have been published here regularly. So we read US comics in Portuguese since forever. Batman was published here in 1940, 1 year after it was published in the US. So we have Panini publishing both right. Marvel and DC here in Brazil for over a decade now. So we read. Brazilians are used to find everything in Portuguese. When a comic book comes out in the US, you're probably going to have it in Portuguese like 4 months after, 5 months after. And the cultural impact of US comics here in Brazil is so strong that you have generations of artists coming from Brazil working for the West market.
Oh yeah.
Ivan
yeah.
Reis, Rafael Grandpa, Mike Deodato, Bilks Evely, Roger Cruz, Oclair Albert, the list goes on. Rafael Albuquerque, the list goes, Mateo Santoloco, the list goes on and on and on and on. Because we have been reading US comics for generations. European comics are more popular now. Manga, of course, because everybody was invaded by manga. But US comics and superhero comics, they're still very, very popular. And we read those in Portuguese. But we also can find, not that often, but we can find and collect in English as well, the original editions. I collect comics in English, so I have a huge collection here with a lot of. I collect art. I have like 2,700 original art pieces down here.
Wow.
And thousands and thousands of comic books, but mostly in Portuguese, Steve, because we can find pretty much anything in Portuguese nowadays.
Now, the reason that I bring that up is because John was saying that he wanted to bring people over, and put comic books over there. And my main concern would be if people went there and they were flicking through back issue boxes, they'd be like, well, this is all English stuff. I don't get it. So, obviously, when you're doing a signing, Gerry, I can imagine you're going to see some incredible high quality, Portuguese issues featuring Manwolf. Okay. And you'd be like, wow, look at this. And you better sign it. But, again, if it was like if Torpedo Comics was to go over there, let's say I brought this up to John would say, well, are the audience going to flick through the boxes and go, oh, well, it's all English?
That wouldn't be a problem because they wouldn't buy those comics to read but to collect.
Okay.
So for sure they would be interested. We have some companies here in Brazil that bring comics from the US. One of those is named Baú das HQs. It would be translate something like the comic book chest. And they bring regularly. So when a comic books come out on Tuesday or Wednesday, let's say, and they will have it here 1 week later.
Okay.
So it's that fast. And people collect US comics here in Brazil. So bringing down original US comics collectors will be definitely interested.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that John would be very happy to know that you would be paying our freight for the pallets coming over. That would be magnificent. I think you really are a businessman of the new era. Thank you, guys.
I want to ask Gerry something. Now, Gerry, you see the impact, like the Brazilian people, they have this huge, and how quick it exploded, his con. It all piggybacks off the stuff you, Stan Lee, Roy, Jack Kirby did. You guys created, the Punisher. These are franchises that how do you feel, Gerry? And this is an honest question, that Ivan is an offspring of like your work, and what it has developed. We all are. How does that feel when little Gerry Conway was this young kid that just your work, it transcends everything. How does that feel, Gerry? That's seriously, I don't know how would love to know.
It feels good, but it also feels weird in that I feel like I peaked in my early 20s and it's been all downhill since then. No, I feel very lucky because we honestly thought my cohort and I thought that the business would be done in 5-10 years. That was the trend. Sales were going south very quickly, and both companies were trying all kinds of ways to build up an audience again. But the baby boomers had already started to grow up.
Yeah.
So we expected that our careers would, be over before we were 30. The idea that here I am, in my 70s, and people, come up to me in their 50s, telling me how I was so much a part of their childhood. It's both weird and gratifying.
And Gerry, remember when you wrote these 2 issues, you couldn't even show up. You didn't even know if you were ever going to show up to a con again, right? Now you got this Brazilian Comic Con that gets like 1 million people that want you, and they're celebrating these comics. How does it feel from that when you couldn't even leave your apartment, and now you can go all the way to Brazil and they celebrate?
I wouldn't say that I couldn't leave my apartment, but I certainly couldn't go to conventions. Even back then when there were only 300, 400 people, and most of the criticism came in by mail, snail mail. But I would say it's validating that I did a good job back then on those stories. I certainly thought we did a good job. And, there's a certain amount of competition between creatives where some people feel justified in putting other people down. And as this young snot who came into the business replacing older people, there was a certain amount of pushback against me at the time. And I didn't take it very well because I was a kid. I took it to heart. So the fact that my writing had such an impact on people when they were young is very gratifying. It validates my career in a sense. It had a big influence on you, but it also was the center of my writing career for many years. And it's nice to know that stuff that I wrote had a half-life that continues to this day.
Gerry, on a personal level, for those of us who know that you did have some health concerns for a while, and there were a lot of people that were pulling for you, a tremendous amount of people who were pulling for you, and what we wanted was to give you the exposure that we think you deserved. Now, a lot of creators of your ilk, sometimes they, you look at a picture in a magazine or an article, and that's all people had, and in this era of where, McFarlane's out there and Jim Lee and all those guys, it was like, well, wait a minute. What about Roy? What about Gerry? What about Steve Englehart? These guys are here. And for us to see you going to a show with a huge backdrop and people coming up and saying, wow, I never thought I'd ever get to see Gerry Conway. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, Jim, can you move aside? Gerry Conway's here. And that's what makes us happy. I know that what makes Ivan happy is because, we hold you in such a high esteem. And the fact that we can actually say to people, come over here, this is Gerry Conway. It's a very special deal. And I'm so thankful that your health is good enough, that you're out there to be able to travel, to experience people showering love on you and some appreciation, because you deserve all of it and more.
And Ivan, let me throw this at you too, because I know me and Gerry been talking behind the scenes. We talked to some other people. How cool if you come to the States. And let me just throw it out here, a few names. Gerry, Roy, and we'll get Marv Wolfman out. You'll get the Teen Titans, you get Frank Castle, you get Wolverine, Ghost Rider, you get everything. And the Man-Thing and Werewolf by Night. Incredible. I'm just saying. We'll get all the legends for you. We'll bring them all out, and then we'll throw Chris Claremont in that blender. There's so much we can do, because I would love to do that for you, Ivan, because once again, you are a fan, and I consider you a friend, a true friend. And I know me and you, we got the love for each other, and I love that, because once again, I totally respect you, and that's why you can see it in your show. People like to be around you, and people like to work for you and all that stuff. And you both, obviously Gerry, but like Ivan, you both need to take a bow, because both of you have done something incredible in this world, in an industry that we love, that it'll never go away. Little Ivan, you'll always be around now. Like, they're always going to love you, just like
Yeah,
Joe, like little Joe.
just to follow up, Ivan, we have in Vegas 200 million square feet of convention space. Just letting you know.
You know that at some point we have discussed Vegas. Yeah, because we understand, and actually we receive a lot of comic book people from all over the country, all over the world, actually,
all over the world,
that come down to Brazil to go like, what are you building here? I remember hearing from top executive from Reed Pop a few years ago, and he was like, he was at the show with me, and he was like, I don't have one single booth this big at my conventions, and it was like our 5th year or something. So we created something different, and we are super happy with that, and we are bringing it to different countries like Mexico, as we already are, we already had in May, and again next year, and then South Korea. And one of the things about Brazil is that, as I mentioned, we didn't have a long tradition of Comic Cons here. I mean, we had a lot of comic book conventions, but they were not only comic books, or they were super tiny. I was involved with one very popular here, very important, in another state, not in São Paulo, that I had a chance to bring George Perez back in the day. Another person. And then, but we were not in the loop when a lot of artists were going to conventions. Now we are. So for me, it's a pleasure and something that we're doing for the fans to bring Chris Carmon and Roy last year, Gerry this year, because they never had a chance to meet their heroes.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I'm mentioning Vegas so much is we have some, we have New York, we have San Diego, okay, we have some big shows in Chicago. They are the most expensive shows in the world. There's no parking. You try and get a hotel. Yeah, you need space. And if you do anything, you don't even think about East Coast New York, okay, because the entire nation of Brazil could spend the entire amount of money, okay, and they're not going to get one room, okay. So the way that John is explaining your show, and you didn't give me a square footage, but it sounds like it's enormous. I think there's certain locations and states in America that will probably be impossible for you. And I think when it comes to having something that big, that major, you need to have something where, you can have, 35, 40 or 50,000 vehicles all parked up in a space and not all on top of each other in some place in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah. And one more thing I want to say about Ivan's show. And this is, Steve, as you know, we've been to every show in the world. I mean, especially in the States, Niall too. But going in the Northeast, in California, the thing with Ivan's show that there's and I don't know if it's the Brazilian people or something, but there's like a family aspect. As big as it is, it doesn't get out of control. Like it's just that you feel that with all the staff, all the workers, and like, Ivan, am I crazy with that? That it's just, I don't know if it's like a personality thing, but even like everybody who's driving the vans, we'll have the Frank Castle van there that Gerry will be coming out of with the but there's just a family aspect there that you feel. You never feel that high tension of the Northeast or California. I don't know what it is, but there's like look at Ivan. He works these huge shows, and look at how lovey-dovey he is. I mean, you can't help it. You want to help the guy.
It seems like they have a greater appreciation for it than maybe we do here, too. Because it is here. What Ivan's doing is basically bringing everything that they love and respect and are passionate about. He's bringing all that to Brazil. So I mean, you'd think about it. Let's look at like all the manga stuff, right? If we were to bring in all those Japanese artists and the South Korean artists and everything over here, they probably would feel almost like that same experience because we don't have it natively here. Now, there's many amazing artists in Brazil, and I'm big in the indie scene, and a lot of our artists on our book are from Brazil. That's where we hire a lot of our artists, and but then you start talking Warner Brothers, Marvel, DC. Again, that is all in the States. That's all created there. So now to capture all that and bring it to their home, I mean, I bet you I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. That appreciation just has to be next level. It's like San Diego Comic-Con on steroids, except there's no, after effects.
Yes, and also there's no. You get a can of Coke and it's $19 in San Diego. That has an effect, and I think I'm trying to grasp the scale of this thing.
I'm jealous. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm really jealous. Wow. Because all of us have gone. We started off with those little chintzy shows. And then we get to, a big show. And I think what John hit upon is 100% correct. Like when you speak to the higher ups in New York, they can be extremely abrasive people. Oh. And you'd be like, hi, I really love this. And they'll be like, you're annoying me. Go away. And you're like, wow, okay. I guess that's the New York greeting, So again, to translate this show. But I honestly think that, you borrowed some ideas from America, but then when you give it back, it's not the same thing. It's something better and bigger, and then maybe we can, us Americans, including me, can learn something from it. And that there is going to be your gift, Ivan. The fact that you started off in a country that didn't have many history. You weren't doing San Diego in 1970. You had a small thing, but you took it, expanded on it, and said, okay, here we go. And then if you bring it back over, I guarantee you're going to get a lot of people with their jaws just hanging down. And then secondly, with John there getting 6,000 different creators coming there, can you imagine, Roy and Gerry and Marv and Steve Englehart just at the same panel? They're a black hole of creativity like this.
Yes.
So there's many opportunities. I'm very, very excited about the future for you and your company.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
thank you. What we did back in the day when we started creating CCXP, of course, we had a lot of background when it comes to US shows because we have been to New York, San Diego, everything. But every year I try, all of us actually, we go to different gatherings of people. Let's say we don't go only to Comic Cons. We go to South by Southwest. Mm-hmm. We go to Angoulême. We go to Japan. We go to different shows to get, we are super close to the Rock in Rio people here. Actually, we had a show together, a gaming show in Rio, let's say within Rock in Rio. So we go to different shows to get different inputs and go like, this could work for CCXP. So it's not a copy and paste from what you guys have in the US. It's something adapt for the Brazilian taste. Let's say we had to turn it into carnival somehow, and we have a lot of input from everywhere. So I'm going to. I didn't go to New York this year or San Diego because I was like, there's nothing to learn. Yeah. So I'm going to MegaCon because I've never been there, and I'm going to South Korea in September next year, but I'm probably going to Lake Como again because it's something else. And so we keep going to different events all over the country, once again, all over the world, to get new ideas and inspiration, operational, but also creatively. They are doing something here that may work for us. And another aspect that we are really proud of is how we treat guests. Yeah. Usually, a comic book guest, when go to a convention, they have a green room with nachos and Coca-Cola, and that's it. We have an actual restaurant for comfortable guests. We ask if they have any food limitations, like vegetarian or something like that. We have a VIP room all the time with coffee and some water, a nice sofa to sit and relax. And we have the barbecue party here at my place on Monday after the show. So only for comfortable guests, 150 people come over. So it's funny because I'm right now sitting on the same chair that Neil Adams was sitting a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we have this kind of crazy situation that we have like Frank Miller and Neil Adams eating barbecue, and and so it's funny, but it's a way of okay, we had a show for 300,000 people. Now we are going to be among ourselves and have some time to talk and enjoy and have drinks, and so it's like a convention after the convention, but only for the guests.
And Gerry, you should know, Ivan wasn't going to sign the contract unless we agree to come to the barbecue.
Yeah,
because you got to come to the barbecue, and I said,
come to the barbecue party because it's part of the
I
whole
wouldn't have
experience.
missed it. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's
okay. So anyways, we're going to wind this down and all that stuff. But Ivan, first off, thank you so much for taking a little bit of your time to come here and like I said, I consider you such a good friend and all that stuff. And and when you have your ideas working on some, the guy, Frank Castle down below, and some other little rascally guy and some Marvelous Marv. And if I can ever bring this big dude right here and all his comics and all his stuff, and the guy over there, Niall, I'm an honor to be with you, and I love what you do, and I do nothing but celebrate your work. And I tell all the creators, like I told Gerry, this is going to be such an event. And Gerry, as you see Mr. Ivan Costa, you can tell that I wasn't fibbing. Was I fibbing,
No.
Mr. Conway? And so anyway, so thank you so much. And Gerry, obviously we got a lot going on. You said you might be at MegaCon, right? If you're going to be me and Gerry will be there in February at the MegaCon down in Orlando. We'll be there for 2 days and all that. I can send, if you're going to be there, I'll send you the dates we'll be there and all that stuff. That if you want to come check us out and see Gerry in action with his American crowd. I want Gerry to bring his bazookas and his belts and his bullet belt,
and also his moonstone.
Yeah, the moon rocks. Gerry, I just have to tell you this, and I know me and Steve went nuts on Raw. You got to know, me and Steve, for some reason, we fall in love with some of these strange, same characters, but Man-Wolf, we went crazy. But why we loved Man-Wolf so much was because of the moon rocks. We both went nuts. Even, do you remember when they used to make the little Superman kryptonite, the green kryptonite? Do you remember that they made them for years? I used to see them when I was a kid in the 70s, and I was like, that's Man-Wolf's moon rocks. And I made one, remember? I made one and I tied it around. What kid wanted to be Man-Wolf? Me and Steve.
Only two people.
I made a rope and I tied it to the kryptonite, and I played Man-Wolf. And Gerry, you remember it was grafted to his skin. Remember that? Spider-Man didn't know. And when he ripped it off, unbelievable. It was the power record. That's why I got so crazy about it. So just want you to know, Gerry, you blame all this, Ivan and all that. It's all on you. It's all on you. You can't help. Some turned out like Ivan. Some turned out like me and Steve. Some turned out like Niall. So we're sorry. But
yeah, Niall is the sophisticated guy on the computers, and me and John, we're just like, what can we do?
So we blame this on you. So anyways, thank you guys. So thank you guys so much for being here. So Niall, thank you. Steve, it's great being back with you guys. Ivan, I love you. Gerry, you know I love you so much. It's an honor to be representing you, and I'm going to do my best to that. And me and Ivan got plans for you, Gerry. To the moon. So to the moon rocks. All right, Steve, get us out of here. Love you, Gerry. Love you, Ivan. Thank you.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.